Scott, welcome to Wise Immigrant Podcast by Miss Immigrant USA. We are really honored to have you here because we know that making a decision to run for a position for the people, it's not an easy task that one person can take on themselves. Thank you for doing that, and we are here eager to learn all about you. Please, could you introduce yourself in your own words so people can learn about you, where you're coming from, and how everything started?
Really. Well, first, thank you. Thank you for having me on. It is an honor to be here, and it's wonderful to meet with you. Um, what really gets me here, this is a kind of a long journey for me on this. It has taken over the past 8 years, but I am an alpaca farmer. I am a community organizer. I am the chair for the Wayne County Democratic Committee. I have been with a lot of different justice groups within Wayne County and across the Finger Lakes. I'm a business manager. I am an outdoor enthusiast, a healthcare advocate, a sustainability advocate, and most importantly, a very devoted husband and father. And I put those two to emphasize the point that what gets me into running, honestly, was my children.
Oh,
Um,
tell us
in
about
2000,
it.
yeah, in 2016, my eldest turned 18, and when I turned 18, I was able to get a job right out of high school. I could go out, I could get an apartment, I could get a car, I could provide for myself in most ways. Couldn't afford health care or anything like that even then, but I could still had a chance of living my own life. And my eldest, unfortunately, they wanted to do the same thing, but they quickly found out that we don't have the same kind of jobs anymore, and they don't pay enough to really pay for an apartment and all the things that you need to get out of life. And they tried very hard, and they worked a couple of different jobs. They worked with they made the sacrifices. They had roommates. They did all kinds of things, but ultimately, what we found out is that the opportunities didn't exist anymore. And if the opportunities don't exist for the next generation, then my generation has done something wrong and we need to do something about it. And that's really what kept on going through my head is I've got to do something about this. I've got to do something about this. So a lot of people think that I get inspired to run for office because of the 2016 election. And that's not, that's part of it. But what really is driving me here is that I'm seeing a whole generation, not just my kids, but a whole generation and generations beyond who don't have the same opportunities that I had to thrive. And I think that I've had good opportunities, and we want to make sure that they have those opportunities and better. And that serving in our New York State legislature, that can enable me to help empower them to live better lives.
So, do you think that you make the right decision?
Well, yes, ultimately, I think I do, but it goes back and forth because running a campaign or especially over this period of time, it has its ups and downs.
Yes, yes. And I love what you're doing with the alpacas. Not only because they are such a cute animals, and you started a farm with them, but you are using it for the political image. And as well, I read the manifesto that they should be the logo of the Democratic Party, and I laughed so badly. All what you wrote there, and I'm going to add it later to the video, is so relatable, and it makes such a sense, like how you describe the alpacas, that they are, team players, they are the leaders, they take care about each other. That all makes sense.
Yes, well, and I thought about that. It started out as humorous, but I mean, it really does become a good symbol for the Democratic Party. If we are looking to develop a better message, then we have to look at how we have changed and have these wonderful creatures that do emulate everything that we stand for. And I think that would be a good change if we made that the Democratic emblem.
And now that you're running, are your kids involved in your campaign? Are they helping? And if yes, how?
So my eldest is more involved than any of the other kids. My other kids are 16 and 10, respectively. And so my eldest comes out and he actually works as a photographer for me. So a lot of the pictures that you see on the website, things those are things that he's taken. So he's become kind of an avid photojournalist with that. But he also speaks out. He actually started his own sites to help out different marginalized communities, particularly the trans community. So he's got a website devoted to that. My other kids, my middle child, Siri, she is. She is a staunch defender of people's rights.
What kind of defender? I'm sorry.
A staunch defender, a very avid defender of people's rights. So she is one of the people who stands up, especially in school. We hear reports that she stands up for kids at any moment in time. She is ready to stand and defend people's rights. So she's getting quite a lot of education from this as well, and she comes through and she joins us at a lot of the rallies and protests and things like that. My other child is not as interested in politics right now, and we don't want to force it on them. Again, we were trying to give them opportunities, not force them down a particular path.
Yes. Hearing all that about your children, they might have a good role model who kind of embedded in them all those characters and morals. So, about you, Scott, how did you grow up? Where did you grow up, and what shaped you to be this kind of person that you are now, and a person who cares so deeply about others?
So my father was an Episcopal priest in Rochester, New York. Um, and he was very involved in the community, and he did a lot of things beyond the church as well. He did a lot of work in schools. He did a lot of work with youth, and did a lot of presentations for elected leaders and things like that. Very involved, and so that helped to shape me. But where I grew up in Rochester, New York, um, we would consider it not the highest wealthy community in the world, you know. So I'm growing around with a very diverse population. I went to public schools, um, and a lot of that education. I mean, one of the things that we were taught throughout public education was to care about our community, to care about the people that we're living with, to make sure that everybody else is succeeding as well as ourselves. So that those are all formative things for me. Um, we worked with food banks with my family. We worked with the church. We worked with different government agencies. My mother was very involved with schools as well. She used to help, teach people how to present themselves, make presentations. She worked for the law magnet for a little bit, trying to help them with their trial presentations. So a lot of different things feed into that. But overall, I mean, the sense of community that I get, it's both from my parents, but really from the community, because the community that I grew up in, we all looked out for each other, and we all knew that we all did better when we all did better. You know, we were there helping to fix each other's houses, or we were helping to take care of each other's kids, and you know, it becomes more wholesome. It was a very vibrant street that we lived on. So there was that, and as I grew into an adult, I took that into every business that I went involved with, and every time that I managed a business, which is several of them. We create that community, that kind of sense of community, that it's not a top-down approach, but we're all doing something together. And by doing so, we make it better for everybody. And it always worked.
Yes, and that's how it's supposed to be. We should be all doing things together for each other. Whenever we need each other, we have somebody to call. And I'm originally from Poland, and I'm now here in the United States. And being immigrant, this is something that very often we miss, because we don't have this community, we don't have this network. You kind of rely on yourself because you don't have a choice.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, right? Because one of the things for this country for a long time, I will grant that it is not as much now, but we are the place that welcomes immigrants. We're all immigrants here, aside from the Native Americans, and even the Native Americans, a lot of them showed us the way how to welcome people in and how to live on the land and how to be part of a community. And it's sad to me that we seem to have lost sight about that now. So we're trying to encourage again that feeling of, immigrants are good for America. Our immigrants help to build our communities, help to enrich our culture, help to build our economy. And so we should be welcoming immigrants the entire way, not necessarily saying that we're closing our borders all the time.
Yes, this is funny that you said we are all immigrants. Through my journey of being an immigrant, I mean, like the real immigrant, I learned that there is something called immigrant identity, and that a lot of people who are second generation, third generation, they still identify as immigrants. And then we took on ourselves a mission to say that, listen, after all, we are all immigrants. So how did it come to you? Because that's kind of unusual for me to hear that from someone.
It comes to me. I mean, this is again part of the education that I've had. I mean, we have always known that most of the people that are living in this country right now are descended from people who came from other countries. We know that we're all immigrants. You know, if we talk about the story about the Puritans coming over to New England or the colonists coming over from England and France and Spain, um, you know, and we look at all of the stories of people coming to this land, and I have to think of it that this land is one that kind of calls out to people to come to, right? Um, I think that that is intrinsic in the story of America, and it's we have seen a lot of people always throughout history and throughout prehistoric times. We've seen a lot of different evidence of how many people have come to this land, and it is always a welcoming place for more people and for different species as well. We can talk about the alpacas as well if you want to talk about that, because we've got alpacas now coming from South America up to North America and have been thriving here. But alpacas actually, when they this is kind of off topic, but alpacas
No,
originated in North America a long, long time ago. Go down to South America, and now they're making a return journey. But again, the point is that this is a land that welcomes people from all over the world. That this is a place that people can thrive, and I think that that's the message that we need to send to the world, right? That this is where you can be welcome, that you can successfully be you and thrive and prosper with security and justice. You know.
amen to that. You're running for the New York State Senate District 54, and I checked the border lines. I was not familiar with that. That's really like the end of the United States. You are touching Canada through the lake. Uh,
Hmm.
I'm not really familiar. What are the struggles in those communities, mostly rural communities? This is something that, you don't hear on TV or social media much. What is that those communities struggle with, people in your district, and how are you hoping, to help them?
So first, we need to recognize the district. The district takes over 4 counties. So Ontario, Livingston, Monroe County, and Wayne County, and it is a very rural district. But it's a rural district in New York State that has been home to a lot of different movements. So we've had, this is where the Haudenosaunee, the Onondaga, the Seneca Nation was based and is based. We have These are spots where the Underground Railroad left off. This is where a lot of the American Revolution was fought. Um, and this is an area that actually contributes a great deal of things to both the state and the nation. In terms of agriculture, we are the top producer of apples. We are a big dairy producer. We have we contribute culturally. We have a lot of different arts organizations throughout the district. We are an energy producer, so we have got a lot of different kinds of energy plants, including a nuclear plant, and we're putting up a lot of renewable resources. There's a lot of things that we contribute, and so one of the main hardships that we have is for all that we contribute, we don't seem to have a voice in our own government. And that's a problem, because if we don't have a voice in the government, then we don't get the resources back that we deserve that actually support the people in this very rural area. And things like, the things that we need, making sure that we all have really good infrastructure, good power infrastructure, good communication infrastructure, making sure that we have healthcare facilities that actually are available and provide good quality healthcare to our people, and that are affordable as well. We have schools that need definite support, because we have a lot of people who leave the rural areas because of one of the main hardships here. We don't have a lot of job opportunities. We have a lot of potential for them, but because we're not getting these resources from the state and the federal government, we're often ignored. And so we need somebody who is going to actually promote us in our state government. That's what I want to do in Albany for us as a state senator. Make sure that we are in the room, that we are being heard, and that we are involved in how we all move forward. Because we contribute so much, we deserve to have that consideration, that voice in Albany.
Mhm. If you could change one thing about how politics speak to ordinary people, what it would be?
If I could change one thing, I would change this team mentality, this terrible divide that we have,
Mm.
because we are divided by primarily two different parties, right? And we seem to be getting nowhere because
I add a third party, immigrants, because
sure,
because it always seems like the immigrants is the biggest issue for everyone.
it does seem like that, doesn't it? But you know, but we have this terrible partisan divide where if you're on one side or the other, you simply will not listen to another person based upon what they identify themselves as. And we all can contribute. We all have good ideas here and there. Most of us do anyway. Um, and when you include the immigrant voices in here, who are again contributing so much to our state and deserve a voice, then you have to add that in. If there's one thing I would change, it would be the entire party system so that we are actually focusing on the individuals and how they will serve the community rather than making sure that it was all about what team you support. You
But
know,
how this can be done? Do you have
it
it?
is,
Is it
there
even
are,
possible?
it takes a lot of work. And this is one of those things that I've been doing this since 2016, really getting involved since 2018. But so for the past 8 years, I've been a Democrat, and I've let the Democrat cause kind of lead the way and let people know why I'm a Democrat, leading with those values, right? I think by talking about values with people, that bridge, that is what builds bridges. Because I've talked to staunch Republicans, and I say, okay, my values are that we're a democracy, that everybody deserves a voice, that we should also have opportunity, that we should all make sure that all of our basic needs are met. And they say to me, well, yeah, that's what I believe too. And I say, great, now we've got common ground. It has nothing to do with party.
Mhm.
And the more conversations we have, the more people realize that of our country, our community is not supposed to be about whether Democrats or Republicans or any other party rules, but it is about how we all share values and how we all move forward together.
Mhm.
It's a long, hard road to go down because honestly, you've got so many people who are very angry that their party doesn't win or does win or whatever it happens to be.
Yes. But then I agree with you 100%. But as well, I saw that you're collecting signatures to be independent from the party. Can you explain? That's always like I'm still learning so much. There is to learn in all this how everything works. So you are already on the ballot. You're official candidate on the Democratic Party. So now, what made you to decide that you want to be maybe run on as an independent? And can you do this simultaneously at the same time? And what are the chances? And what it would mean for you if you achieve it?
Sure. So kind of relevant to what we were just talking about. How do we
Yeah.
get people to come together, right? There are lots of people who, I've got the Democratic. I'll be on the Democratic line. We'll vote on that in the primary in June.
Mhm.
Um, but there are lots of people that I talk to that like what I have to say. They know that I'm going to serve well in the New York State Senate and they'll support me. But because they are so against Democrats, they will not vote for the Democratic line. Now,
Yes.
New York State has what's called fusion voting. So you can have a candidate on multiple different lines. So I could be on a Democratic line, I could be on the Working Families Party line, I could be on an independent line.
Mm.
And the independent line is what we're going for at this point. The independent line that we have to name the party. So I've named this one Finger Lakes Forward because that really kind of exemplifies what I'm trying to do here. We're trying to make sure we're going forward with everybody. This allows, assuming that we get the line, we have to get a number of petition signatures. So we had to get 1,000 petition signatures to get on the Democratic line. One of the things that is not particularly fair about this system is that to get on an independent line, we have to get 3 times the amount of signatures. We have to work a lot harder. So we've got to get 3,000, at least 3,000 signatures on our independent petition in order to have that independent line. But it's important because now that independent line gives those people who do want to support me and candidates like me a place where they can feel comfortable voting and still stick to the principles that they're not voting on the Democratic line, they're voting on an independent line. In the general election, the results from both of those lines will be combined, so they all count for one person. So yes, they can be done simultaneously.
Oh, so you can be on the ballot from both lines and
Yes.
people can vote on you and then they add it up and then but then at the end you will be with whom if you win?
Well, at the end, the nice thing about that is especially because we've established ourselves as both independent and Democrat. I'll be caucusing with the Democrats. I'll be working a lot with Democrats in the state Senate. But I've also let people know that I am very open to working with everybody in the New York State Senate because that's how it's supposed to be. Again, we're not supposed to be talking, I'm not just serving Democrats in the New York State Senate, I'm serving my entire community, which includes independents, Republicans, conservatives, every Working Families Party, everybody. And so everybody will have that access to me. And I will work with anybody who wants to work with me.
Mhm. Wow, that's great. But the only problem is that they make such a high bar
Yeah.
to make it happen.
Yes,
Oh,
but I've got a lot of volunteers this year. Again, this has been a labor of love for me. This is the second time I've running for New York State Senate. Um, Last time we got more votes than anybody ever got as Democrats in this district, and actually probably achieved the win number that we'll need for this year. So
mhm,
if all of those people will vote for me again, we'll be successful. We'll definitely be successful because we'll add to that. But that also allowed me to establish a reputation, establish my name, so more people know me now. And so we have a lot more volunteers helping to get these signatures. So it's definitely achievable if we have all the volunteers. We've got 50 towns in the district. If all of those towns just generated 100 signatures each, then we would have far more signatures than we would need, and that would be great. And I would love to do that.
mhm. And your district is so wide. How are you managing, getting to different corners of it?
I have a good team, and I've always been very energetic about how I would travel. I've always told people, I consider the entire district my home. So there is no place in my district that is too far for me to go. Um, I make the time to make sure that I show up for people wherever they are, and whether I'm talking to 2 people or whether I'm talking to 200 people. I'm there for the community of whoever needs to speak with me, and if they want to engage with me. And as the state senator, I'll be doing the same thing, making sure that everybody knows that no matter where you live, you will be heard. You will have a voice in the Senate. It can be very difficult. Luckily, again, I can depend on my family to help me with the farm because obviously there's a lot of work that I can't do myself while I'm on the road. But this is where my kids help out most of all, and my wife, helping to tend with the alpacas and the chickens that we have here.
How many alpacas do you have?
We have 9 right now. Um, it's been a while since I've bred them. I would like to. I've got a couple of girls who I would like to breed again. Um, and so we've had as many as 16 before,
Mm.
but now we're down to 9. And hopefully, we'll get more as the year goes by.
Are they require a lot of work?
Actually, no. Alpacas are very easy to work with. They're very intelligent animals, and they don't actually. I mean, I've got them. They are grazing on about 3 acres of my land right now. They don't require any more than that. Um,
Hmm.
they are very easy to take care of. We do have to give them shots every month just to make sure that they are protected against certain parasites around here.
Mm.
But aside from that, it's just feeding them, making sure they have water, cleaning up after them, obviously. There's work involved, but they themselves are very easygoing, and they're very friendly, and they're impersonable.
Yes, they look so cute. You just like want to, pet them. And
Yes.
how this started? How did you start the alpaca farm?
Honestly, it's a weird story. I was working at a different kind of job. I was actually a garage door mechanic at that time. I was helping run a company with that, and we were at a site working on a building that was next to this field where we looked over and we saw these, a couple of llamas and some alpacas, and I went over to them because I was like, "That's really cool," and they start humming. And it was just this beautiful moment where they're humming at you, and you're like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" And so I got online and I looked at alpacas, and I just fell in love. And my wife was like, "Well, she likes to do a lot of things with fiber, and this is an amazing fiber to work with." And so we decided at that moment in time, we're going to do an alpaca farm, and that became a goal. And in 2006, we found our home out here in Palmyra and started making the farm. So in 6 years later, 2012, that's when we first brought our alpacas in, and it's been going ever since.
Yes. And now that you are including alpacas in your political campaign, how are people reacting to that?
People like that a lot. Again, it shows that we're doing something different, and I think that's what people are looking for at this point. We don't want politics as usual anymore, right? We want real people. We want genuine people who are going to represent us and actually do work. And by bringing the alpaca into it, letting people know that we've got something different going on here, we've got something unique, something genuine, that really does turn a lot of people on. And we get a lot of questions about alpacas, honestly. Um, and so it's been very well received, and I think that, again, people are seeing that we can do something different here, and that gives people hope, which is also one of the things that we definitely need at this moment in time.
Yes. Our platform talks a lot about belonging and dignity. What does belonging mean to you in America today?
That's kind of a difficult question, isn't it? Um, Belonging at least means that you're comfortable in your own skin in your community, right? And right now, I have been working with a lot of people who should be comfortable in their skin in their own community, but unfortunately are not. We are subject to a lot of fear here, especially I have a lot of people who are immigrant friends. I have a lot of people who are people of color who are friends, and many of them understanding that the presidential administration is really carrying out attacks on a whole community. It makes people afraid to be here. It makes people afraid to come out and just enjoy the life that we have available. And that's heartbreaking. Um, to belong here means that you know that no matter where you go, people will look at you and say, "Yep, you are a member of our community. I feel safe with you."
Mhm.
And we'll welcome with you. We might not agree on everything we talk about, but there's respect. There's dignity in who you are, respecting who you are and where you come from, what your culture is, and what you add to it. You know, and that's the kind of thing that I really want to encourage, especially in this area. And for the Finger Lakes, this is one of the things that is actually a value in the Finger Lakes. We have welcomed so many people from so many different communities over a long period of time that we can't help it. We have to see people as the humans that they are and the individuals that they are, and understand that they are always enriching our communities. And that's what I want people to feel when they think of the Finger Lakes. That when they come here, they are comfortable here, that they do belong, whether they're here for a day or whether they're here for a lifetime.
Yes. And how can the rural communities and immigrant communities support each other instead of being separated by the politics or the stereotypes and now the events that are happening now?
It's been tough again because you've got so many people who are physically separated from each other. So we have to have, there are groups that I work with that do try to make sure that we've got communication going between groups, that you've got activity going between groups, communal meals, helping to shop and deliver food for people, or anything else that they need to take them to doctor's appointments. Um, but also just accompanying people and making sure that they feel that no matter where they go, if they're going into a town, that they feel that they're comfortable around the town. Um, Immigrant communities can support each other simply by having that solidarity with each other. You know, it is very important to understand what solidarity means. That you are there for each other, and that you are a part of the community at large. That you have to have the mindset that you cannot be separated from the community that you're in, and you shouldn't be. And I certainly don't look at different communities and say, okay, well, they're not part of my community, because they're all part of my community, right?
Yes,
Um,
we
I think
all
that's the
want.
main kind of support. We have to be there. We have to show up for each other. We have to speak up for each other.
Yes. Um, what would you like people to remember you after watching this conversation?
I'm hoping that people understand that where I'm coming from, the way I want to serve is to make sure that everybody in our community can successfully live the lives that they want as their genuine selves with dignity, prosperity, security, and justice. That's my main goal. And if that's all that you remember about me, that will be great. If you want to remember something more about me, I'm the alpaca guy.
That's easy kind of to remember.
Yep. Um, but most importantly, I want you to understand that I am here to serve you. I am here to serve this community and making sure that both my generation and every generation down the line for the next several generations can build upon and move forward so that we can have a better society for all of us.
Yes. And a question that we always ask our guests, what wisdom would you like to leave with the audience? Something that can inspire the immigrants, the rural families, young people, and anyone who's trying to build a better life, get involved, and create a better future for all of us.
I would ask you to remember that at no point in time are you alone. You are never alone. And you can call upon several members of your community, and we will always help you. We will always be there with you. Um, no one makes a successful life alone as a human being. We are dependent upon each other as a society. And understanding that, I think should help you bring you out of your shell. That is something that if we can remember that all our lives, you are never alone. You are always depending on somebody else, and they are also depending on you.
That's beautiful. Scott, thank you so much. And if people would like to follow you, find you, maybe visit the alpacas, can you share with us how can they do that?
If you go to my website, electscottcomegys.com, there's multiple ways to contact us, and contact through the form, and I will be happy to email you myself or give you a call if you give me your phone number.
And does the alpacas they host guests?
Yes, they would do. They do like being visited all the time.
Yes,
Yep.
they are very friendly. Scott, thank you so much for sharing all about you and the vision, and we wish you all the best. And we definitely follow you and follow up on you.
Thank you so much. This has been a ground. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.